Totem poles. Totem poles were originally made by the native people of the Pacific Northwest. These totem poles were made to tell stories with symbols and different types of hierarchy or how important they were. We are going to be creating our own totem poles in a hanging manner. We are going to be using raised and low relief to create interesting designs. We are also focusing on symbols to tell stories. As I start my totem pole, I am going to make a detailed sketch, thinking about what is at the beginning, middle, and end of the story. I am starting with a story about a trip to Alaska. The very first thing I'm going to make is a sun, because my story starts with the sun and ends with the sun. I am making my work easier by using templates such as circles to create a sunshine. Here I've cut different layers for my sun. I am thinking about how I can create interesting symbols and lines as I carve in and build up designs on my sunshine. Layering slabs, I need to take care to make sure that I slip and score really well and push any air bubbles that could be trapped in between the two pieces out. Here I am using a loop tool to carve low relief into my sunshine. I am doing this to add interest and to create texture on my design. While I'm creating my design, I want to think how I can create interesting textures. Here I've used the side of a wooden tool. Next, I'm going to use the cleanup end of my tool to create different types of triangles. These are just simple ways to create an interesting design on your symbols. These symbols will be hanging, so in my plans, I need to know how I'm connecting each piece. I am going to use a hole maker to put 2 holes in the top of my sun. I need to make sure that I'm not too close to the edge because that will create cracking or breaking. I need to carefully place it in leather hard clay and twist so that I get a nice hole in each of my designs. You can also combine pinch pots and slabs. Here I am creating a mushroom. I'm going to carefully pinch out the cap of my mushroom and then add a stem. While I'm talking about this, I also want to keep in mind that any of my symbols need to be compact. I don't want any small little pieces sticking out that could break easily. But I also want to make sure that my symbols are interesting and understandable if somebody is looking at my totem pole. When you are creating your story, think about something that's been important in your life, a notable experience, or an interesting trip you may have taken. It could also be a dream of something you would like to do in the future, or even a literal dream you've had. Just try to make something interesting and creative that you would like to be able to use in your life. As I'm creating my symbols, I also have the option of sketching out with a pen or pencil onto my slab, but I can also print out different designs and trace them to help me create an interesting design that I may not have been able to without this option. Now that each of my pieces is fired, I'm going to use red iron oxide to accentuate the details. I need to make sure that I wear gloves for this portion of my project. I will brush it on anywhere that I want the texture to be accentuated. Once it is brushed off, I'm going to use a damp sponge to wipe it off the high surface areas of my designs. After I have applied the red iron oxide, I am now going to glaze each of my tiles. I am going to create interesting layers on my tiles so that the colors don't look flat. I am going to think about making sure that I get in every little crack and crevice of my tiles so that they are interesting and neat. Once all my pieces are fired, I am now going to hang them with rope. I can do decorative braids or just regular knots. I want to think about if I want my tiles to be vertical or horizontal as well. Now it is time for you to create your own hanging totem pole.